What's up guys, it's Nick with Counterparts. Today we're traversing over 60 miles on the Mogollon Rim via the Highline Trail. The Mogollon Rim is a massive escarpment that cuts 200 miles across the northern half of Arizona. Starting from the 260 trailhead, we plan to traverse the entire Highline Trail from east to west, ending in the small town of Pine. According to our research and downloaded maps, the length of our run was supposed to be 50 miles. But after talking to locals on the trail, we realized the Highline Trail is officially 57 miles long. At times, we lost the trail and had to backtrack, so our total mileage actually broke 64 miles. We plan to complete the traverse over 2 days, camping halfway along the trail. Nico, Jasmine, and I set out for a full marathon length on day 1, while Andrew and Jared arrived at La Cienega and set up camp while we were running. We got lucky with perfect May weather, and I was surprised to see how lush the forest was on the first 6 miles.
Did you give it all you had?
Out here snacking.
6
miles in, we came across Christopher Creek, the first of 5 main vehicle access points accessible from the 260 freeway, which runs parallel to the trail. We filtered out water and continued on towards Horton Springs. The Highline Trail runs below the Mogollon Rim in the Tonto National Forest, the largest in Arizona. It showcases beautiful vistas of canyons, mountains, desert mesas, and the largest ponderosa pine forest in the world.
Send it, descend it, and then send it.
In its entirety, this is a very difficult trail with over 7,500 feet of elevation gain.
Yeehaw! Keep going, get to the top. Go, follow through!
12 miles in, we came across these massive power lines that went as far as the eye could see. The trail started to open up and slowly transition out of the forest. We cooled off and filtered water at Horton Creek before reaching the fish hatchery, another main access point along the trail. We continued on towards our camp at La Cienega, but things got sketchy quick as our GPS map started showing that we were off the trail even though we weren't. We lost a lot of time in sunlight and ran into a couple hikers, Dominic and Andrew, who were hiking out of the fish hatchery and offered us a ride back to our base camp. Andrew and Jared came through clutch setting up camp while we were running, and we enjoyed an early night after 26 miles of smiles.
It's my birthday!
Hey!
We partying.
We woke up at sunrise and reevaluated our plan to finish the Highline Trail. Nico and Jasmine decided to stop running and transition to aid station help, and I planned to run 17 miles solo to Washington Park. From there, Andrew would pace me the remaining 18 miles to the Pine Trailhead. Andrew drove me back to the fish hatchery so I could pick up and resume where we left off. Unlike the forest-covered pine that dominated the first section of the trail, the middle section transitioned into a desert terrain. Halfway there! The 17-mile stretch solo was a complete mind game. My downloaded map kept showing me go further off the trail when I was actually on trail, which was overgrown in sections with very few trail markers. After running over multiple snakes and watching 3 massive elk run right in front of me, I kept my eyes open for bears, mountain lions, and wild horses that all call the Mogollon Rim home. I turned a corner and came across the only other person I'd see during this 17-mile stretch. He was hiking out because he had the same issues with his downloaded maps and got lost trying to find Dude Creek. This section isn't an easy to follow single track trail. I followed my gut and a couple miles later I reached Dude Creek. I was bummed that the backpacker couldn't make it here because this is probably the prettiest place of the whole trail. The trail became more defined and I started seeing more people as I approached Washington Park. After those stressful 17 miles, I was super stoked to see the crew.
We're so stoked for you, dude.
Fucking bum knee.
How is that holding up?
It's actually really, my knee's actually fine. Everything else is getting sore as expected it would, around mile, what am I at right now?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Realistically, it says I'm at 44.
I cooled off in the creek while the crew resupplied me for the home stretch.
All Trails is a liar.
Yo, we're 43 miles in right now. All Trails is full of shit. And we got 18 more to go today to finish out on Pine.
I was worried and hoping that the trail wouldn't be as hard to follow as the previous 17 miles, as we were going to be more secluded with no support until meeting the crew at the finish. Having Andrew pace me really helped me stay focused mentally through the home stretch. Over the next 8 miles, we passed through meadows, burned forest areas, and a lot of creeks.
We still got about 10 to go. 8 down. Home free almost.
We filtered water every chance we got and quickly consumed all of our food. My quads started cramping briefly around mile 55, but surprisingly, after stretching through the pain, that would be the only real discomfort during the entire run. After passing Weber's Creek, we climbed the highest point of elevation gain on the entire trail, and it was rewarding to look back and see how far we traversed. We reconnected with Nico and Jasmine at the peak 2 miles from the finish. We enjoyed a beautiful sunset, and they helped navigate us back to the parking lot. This was an epic adventure, and I'm so thankful for everybody involved. Jared hooked it up with post-run pizza, and I was finally able to take my shoes off. We made the drive back to Phoenix and got some rest.